G'day guys, welcome to Life on the Hulls, and as you can see behind me we've had some massive progress. And my name's Ross and I'm building this 42-foot catamaran from a mould we purchased around 6 years ago. It's taken us 5 years to get to this stage, and it's been an absolutely massive project. My wife Janet and I are slaving away right now just trying to get it to the point where we can bring it home, and we're pretty excited about that. So this week we're going to be fitting the windows, we're going to be working on some more internal linings, lots to come in this epic boat build. Okay, while I'm brush gelling everything, I've just basically gone up and cut the bottom panel here for our freezer here. Now this is going to have another white panel there. We laid up 2 sheets yesterday on a pretty cold day, and I've got a couple of gel coat blemishes in, not happy. So the most important one in the whole starboard cabin here, this one here, which you're going to walk into, is a shocker. So, and the most important piece that I've made for that has got a little gel coat blemish, and I'm not prepared to accept that I'm going to make another one. So pretty disappointing. I thought I was done making these flat sheets. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get the brush flow coat that I've made over here, and I'm going to brush it in all the way around these margins, all the way up to the side, down here, along here, and up the side, and then along the top here, so that I can get this blended to flow coat here, and then the Raptor is going to come down to the edge of the top of the wardrobe, similar to what I've done here. So this has actually come up so well, and I'm really pleased with the Raptor finish. It's sort of hiding a couple of the imperfections, which is nice, and we'll end up with Raptor coming from here all the way down to the seam. And we've got a white panel here that's going on a wall, and then all of this area is going to be basically white flow coat sprayed, polished to match in with the modules, and then we can come in. Once we do this part, we can actually come in and polish this up and get them covered so that they're not going to get damaged again. As is always the way when you've got 3 people working in here, it gets pretty intense because there's stuff laying around from the previous person. For me, I've got to try to prepare a couple of days ahead for Sam to come in and do fairing and the like, and you know, we've had the fairing done in the bedroom here, but up in our forward head, got a bit of a job I've got to do here. This cavity here is for our washing machine, and it's going to be a Daewoo mini washer, potentially washer dryer. We're not really sure about the dryer function, but I've got to cut the size of the cabinet out so that I can build a cabinet for the washing machine to live in, and therefore get some more storage around the outside of it, just for light stuff like washing liquids and you know, storage of bathroom items and things like that. So I'm going to slice these out now, and then Sam's going to come in and fair the roof. Now I do have a module for the roof, a fiberglass roof panel that I built, but it doesn't cover the whole thing, so I'm going to fair the whole roof, at least get it all faired, and then we may even just paint the roof and not have a liner. It's a good way to keep weight out of the boat, and also make it a lot easier in the long run for us to clean. Very dark in here, but this cabinet here, if I slice this down here, I can then build a wall back to that front bulkhead. The washing machine can be suspended off this bulkhead, which is the front locker bulkhead, so it's already a watertight bulkhead. And then again on this side, we'll make a wall back here, glass that in, fair this out, and make this a cabinet for the washing machine. It's going to take a bit of chopping, but at least I can get it free for Sam to do the fairing in here, and then I can come in and sand it out and start to rebuild all of this cabinet. Right, here it is, acrylic sheet, and that's going to be brilliant. That's going to be so good. Right, I've got a big job ahead of me doing the windows, and hopefully Sam and I can get them done. I've just got to order some fixed tech and some other tape to line the inside of it, and we should be able to get onto that. So I'm going to put these out of the way, and we can move on. Oh, it's the Monday of the last week of Sam's free labour, and I've just stuck him upstairs and we're going to get into it today. We're going to get into some window templating. All right, so we'll go up here, have a look. Oh, everything here is going into the boat very soon. So what we've got here is the inserts, and you remember I curved them so I could bend them, and we're going to use this as an exact template for the windows. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, no more templating.
I didn't chuck them out. Yeah, that would have been a stinker to template. That took me a long time to get those right. All right, so these are our templates. We're going to go up and check them on the boat again before we start.
Expand and contract?
Well, this is what we've got to think about, and this is something very important. What we have to consider is the boat probably is pretty stable now. It's been curing for about 2 years. The polycarbonate, however, will expand around, I think it's around about 2 to 3%. So we need to leave a gap between where the edge of this is and the edge of the boat to allow for heat and cool, because it's going to be in a blistering sun all the time. So very important that we consider that when we put it in. And we need to do a little bit of research today, because I've done the research but I've forgotten it. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of Googling in a minute to work out the exact margins we need to leave on the boat. So we'll take a couple of these up and we'll have a bit of a look. Right, this was what I call forethought, keeping the templates. So we can now determine, we know these fit exactly, but what we're trying to establish here is, she doesn't fit exactly.
It's not bad.
It is an exact fit. Yeah, it's a perfect fit. Right, but the problem is, if you have a look here, this is actually going right to the edge of the boat. We need to make sure we allow for expansion of the perspex. So we're going to have to basically use this as a guide and then cut perhaps 5 millimeters or whatever it is. Now I only have 40 millimeters all the way around to work with, and that means some of that's going to be taken up with this glazing tape I've got, which is double-sided, and that's 4 millimeters thick, and the rest will be the glue. And then we'll come back after it's all set about 2 weeks later and then backfill this area here with the same glue to make sure we get it bonding to the edge and also filling in the gaps so we don't get water getting into there. But yeah, you can see how close a fit that is. It's one of the reasons why we never bothered to repair all this, because it's all going to be black flexi fixed tech anyway. I've just ordered the fixed tech, it's on its way, it should be here today or tomorrow, and we'll be able to go forward. Yeah, that's cool. Right, depends on the size. Replacing or installing new windows can revitalise the look of your boat. Years of environmental data and cleaning and polishing can take Tolerance windows. Okay, so we're using, it's acrylic, these windows. I think it's over 48 inches will expand by a quarter of an inch. Quarter of an inch is what, 6.25 mil?
I don't know.
You metric boy.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so just so you know where we're at, we've just done a test of all these templates up on the boat, and they're perfect, aren't they? Well, obviously, because they're what we pulled out of the mould. Yeah. However, we need to allow for a little bit of expansion, and it's not much. It's probably about 3 millimeters all the way around the base of the windows when they're glued down for expansion and contraction. There's plenty of Fix Tech 200 is the adhesive we're going to be using, but there's plenty of glue holding the window in. A little bit of double-sided tape, which has no real effect, but that stops the glue from overflowing into the inside of the windows. But we need to allow for that expansion nonetheless, because it's acrylic. So what I've actually done, set up last night, and I've done a rough layout of how we're going to lay these out, and you can see them here. What I've tried to do is minimise the amount of sheets we need, but sadly we need an extra sheet just for this bit. But what that'll do is it'll give me enough spare to potentially do some windows later on, so I'll be able to hold on to that and store it with all the other crap I've got.
Is that 10% fuck up margin, really?
Yeah, we've got a 10% fuck up margin. Yeah, exactly. Well, more than 10%. We've probably got 30% stuff up. Anyway, we'll get those sheets out now.
If those sheets are anything to go by, we're going to use it.
No, I've been a lot more meticulous here because I've actually done the templating, and yeah, it's like 10 times the price. It's like $350 a sheet, so we can't stuff it up. Alright, it's pretty heavy. Alright, so 2440 by 1220 is the size of this sheet, and we've got to maximise that. That's why I did that.
We have saved the sheet.
We're hoping to have saved the sheet by a little bit of engineering, but all this drawing I did helped me order it, but it certainly hasn't solved my problem.
It's because they're not to scale.
They're pretty close. They're the right length and width. They're just hand drawn.
They're dead straight. This has got a massive curve in it.
It isn't. It's dead straight on the bottom. Yeah, well that's giving us the overflow. Oh, working with an engineer, nothing worse. You got to go by eye, mate. That's all. We're flying by wire here. Allow for expansion, so we just got to cut it out. But we've got to cut it out on the right side. We need to mark this one, other side. Yeah, very important. Righto, let's get the rest on. Oh, I don't want to bevel this end.
You what?
So that butt joins onto another piece. We don't want to bevel that. Although I do need to allow for some expansion.
Not if they're butt joined.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I need to, because I need to have a join in there, a circuit flex.
Yeah, but that Sikaflex will bind the two together, right?
Yeah, so I need to allow.
No, because then the whole thing will expand. It won't expand into that. It'll be one piece.
There's two pieces that join, butt join together. The little piece and that joins together. So I need to allow for that.
It'll expand more on that end.
I'm not worried about expansion. I want to have a slot. Shit.
What?
I hope it doesn't join over the window.
I don't know what you're saying.
I'll have to go and check that. I'll have to go and check. 7 days a week this job, come on. Thanks. And we may have a join in the middle of the polycarbonate, and that's going to have to re-rig it because I'm not sure what these windows do. It's actually not. Hold that there. That's shit, Sam. Where the hell is that? That is here. You got me into out of the sheet.
Not necessarily. Might be alright.
Might find a piece big enough.
You just have to redo it, Paul.
Yeah, I'm really super glad we decided that. Because these aren't the original windows. I've done them shaped as I sort of look better rather than the original ones that I had, and as a result, and because the length of the sheet wasn't long enough. So anyway, crisis averted. This one I don't have the issue with because it's all one piece.
You sure?
Definitely one piece. Hope. That one is port stern. Ouch. Look, let's cook some acrylic. This is actually.
So this is an off-cut. Everyone's probably like, oh, it's just cardboard. You do both sides. Look at this. Look at that. There's the window. Cool.
Alright, we've got our side ones in. They're not in, they're just sitting there. A long way between sitting there and getting them put in. There's my beautiful wife. Love you, hun. Doing a great job. Righto, so these side ones are looking pretty spiffy. Spiffy as. We've got the other side here. We've got all our other ones on the roof here. They all fit and they bend really nicely. We don't have to bend too much, only a little bit. I reckon a tiny little bit of heat with the heat gun. And then the port side here is also completely filled in. Now where we had to be really super careful was right here. We've got a join here and we need to allow a gap here for expansion clearly, probably about 5mm, so I'll just trim one of these short, but it is on a mullion. We had to make sure, because I did have them originally cut right back here where the window was, but that looks pretty good. That is cool. What have you got to say about that? That's pretty cool, eh? You guys are going to have to come out and have a look. I thought today, I've been a little bit daunted by today because the acrylic is has always scared me cutting this out because you only get one go at it, and we were lucky we ordered the 4th sheet. We only needed about this much of it, but it was really good and it was a big day, wasn't it?
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, thanks. But anyway, let's check it out, eh? You ready?
Let's go.
All right, we'll start up here. Oh, look at that. Looks like a stormtrooper. How good's that? But bending's not going to be too much of an issue. I think it looks pretty cool.
Right.
We're not going to take these papers off inside or out until probably launch day. We're very close to it. We're going to live in darkness for the whole of winter. Winter is coming.
It's late in the afternoon, folks.
And I'm over it.
Russ is losing it.
Well, I'm stoked. $1,400 worth of acrylic on those windows. I think that's actually pretty cheap, given that your windows are 15 grand. I think $1,400 is pretty reasonable.
But mine look like windows, these look like pieces of cardboard.
These are going to look sick. And you know, I'm thinking that I'm going to do black in between to make it look like one big, it'll be like the Knight Rider. It'll be kit.
No,
that's what I'm going to call it.
Sleep on that one.
No.
Yeah, we'll sleep on that one. It looks like a stormtrooper when you leave the white, but if you paint it all black, around between them, it looks amazing. It looks like one big eyeball.
We'll have to discuss that.
Yeah, that's an off-camera discussion.
Yeah, I reckon.
Okay. Yesterday we cut out the windows, and today I've got my team. Hello, Jen. I've got my team doing the prep for the install. I just received the glue, so that's positive. And we've got Sam here. Can you explain what's going on here, mate? All right, very important this.
Sand and stuff.
Yeah, so what's the
Again.
process? What do you understand what we're doing?
We sand and then we glue.
Yeah, we said it'll be glue, but yeah, this face
This
here.
be rough, so it's up, the glue's got something to stick to.
Yeah, so you got to remove the shine off the gel coat and basically make sure with 120 grit sandpaper that we get this nice and scuffed up. Before we can think about putting the Fixtech 200 is primerless, so we don't need to use a primer, but you do need to have good surface prep. So these guys have got the enviable job of sanding the whole thing and making sure the whole thing's ready when we get around to do our window install.
In between jobs.
He's sabbaticaling with his dad.
Mum was almost finished for 45 minutes. I was
You know
waiting
why?
back
You know
in it.
why? Because Janet spent 4 hours on that side, on the port side, and Sam spent 2 hours on the starboard side. So there'll be a quality control inspection pretty soon.
We'll know when the glue doesn't stick.
If the Fixtech doesn't stick, we know he hasn't done a good job.
The other reason is because I started on this side taking the putty off,
Yeah.
and I did a good job on this side, and then on the other side, which I got to sand,
Yeah.
I didn't get the putty off properly. So
Do you know?
it's my fault.
I'm looking at you. My beautiful wife's a mess.
Thanks.
You're covered in crap. You're gonna have to get a blast off.